I made a mistake. And here's why you're making the same one. Hi, and welcome to the Law Simplified, the world's largest independent online law school platform. I'm your instructor, Shaveen Bandardanayaka. This year marks 10 years since I completed my Bachelor of Laws or LLB program. At the time I was studying and preparing for my LLB, I pursued it through a graduate entry program. Essentially, unlike most students in contemporary contexts who might have to do 12 or in some instances even 16 modules, as I've learned through teaching over the past 9 years, I had to pursue it by virtue of the fact that I had a pre-existing qualification. I had a BSc in computing, in software engineering, and this led to certain exemptions being applicable under the scheme at that time. When I followed the LLB program, I did not have a proper end goal in mind. If someone had told me a decade ago that I'd be teaching law and have a law school with over 56,000 students from 191 countries, I would have scoffed at that suggestion. As a result, however, I made one cardinal mistake at the time I pursued my LLB, something that I've subsequently urged students not to do, and a way forward from that type of mistake from ever happening in the first place. One of my biggest blunders in terms of my LLB career, my academics in terms of law, is subject selection. When I pursued my LLB, considering the fact that I had lesser modules to do than that of a student doing it in the standard format with 12 modules, I told myself, you know what, let's try and figure out a variety of subjects, a variety of modules as wide as possible so that then I'll get the best experience out of this qualification. As noble as that sentiment might be, or as passionate as that might sound in terms of a student pursuing law, and I am someone who's very passionate about the law in general, not just in terms of the UK jurisdiction, but in general as well, I picked subjects which were scattergan all over the place. I selected commercial law because I felt quite interested and fascinated by international trade, agency, and the rules pertaining to sale of goods. I picked certain other modules like private international law, for instance, because I wanted to have a better understanding of how laws apply in different parts of the world, especially when there's a conflict among them. I even picked history of English law, which in itself is not even a module in law, but a historical context in terms of the law altogether. A subject that is not essentially offered in my university anymore. All of this stems from the fact that I was interested in the law, but had no plan of what to do with the qualification afterwards. Thankfully, I was able to take in as much information, knowledge, and arguments as possible, and over time, build it into the law school that is the Law Simplified. But I am aware that this use case and this trajectory is not ideal, nor is it the same for everyone. You might be someone who is intending to pursue law because you want a lucrative career out of it in terms of the profession itself, the fraternity. Or you might be someone who is trying to supplement an existing portfolio or an existing qualification or a career trajectory that you have with something that will take you above and beyond. In either context, whoever you might be, don't make the same mistake that I did. Don't try to go wide or cast the net wide, so to speak. Try to be more specific. I've tried to impress on all of my Fast Track and Masterclass students, as well as all of you who are subscribed to the Law Simplified channel, that you need to work backwards in terms of your career aspirations as it relates to the academic qualification that you're presently doing. This is even more important when you realize later on the qualification that you have may have to be shoehorned into what you want to do in terms of your career. And that's the worst feeling to have. So, if there's one takeaway from this video, always plan ahead. Make sure you utilize your LLB as a tool as opposed to something that is an entry requisite to a career or an employment prospect. It's something that you're going to have to carry with you and then supplement later on as well. Knowledge is not finite, nor does it stay still. It's relative and it moves forward. Make sure that you set the bedrock and foundation at an early stage so that when you do get to that career path and the trajectory that you are planning to achieve, that you're planning to get to, you won't be looking back and regretting on the subjects that you left behind. That being said, until the next time that we meet, have fun, stay safe, and as always, obey the law.